Hello class, in this tutorial I just wanted to quickly show you how to count standard deviations, particularly in response to question 3.39, part B, where it's asking what percentages of these businesses have quarterly sales, tax receipts within plus or minus 1, 2, or 3 standard deviations of the mean. The key point there to pay attention to is the term mean, because what we're going to do here with this tax file, I have it sorted here. It's just a single column of data. I have it sorted from low to high. I calculated the mean and standard deviation in just a couple clicks using the data analysis tool pack, which you should know by now is under the data ribbon here, under data analysis, select the descriptive statistics. Okay, you select your data in the input range, check the box for the input labels, and then make sure you check the box for summary statistics. And when you do that, you get this output, which I have copied over here. And I've highlighted the mean, which is 10.28, and the standard deviation, which is 2.045. I simply took this value of 10.28 and put it next to every single value here, because all the standard deviation is telling you is basically the average difference per record above or below the mean. So in this case, the standard deviation is 2.045. If we subtract each record from the mean, we get this mean diff value here that I created. And it's a simple formula of subtracting A from B. And I copied that all the way down. So basically this problem is asking you how many of these values are within plus or minus 1 standard deviation, plus or minus 2 standard deviations, or plus or minus 3 standard deviations. And to get those values, I simply doubled it and then tripled it. So I have those values here. Then I made a little summary table here with each of the standard deviations and the values. And then we simply just need to count how many of these mean difference values are within plus or minus 2.045, within plus or minus 4.09, or plus or minus 6.14. Very easy to do. Now mathematically you can do the count, but with this data file, since it's so tiny, it's only 50 records, I literally just labeled each one and highlighted them. And a little trick here I'll show you. So we start with the plus or minus 1. Is basically we're looking for values that are within 2.05. So we see here, it's nice to have this sorted, that minus 1.9, we have several values, and this will go to 0, and we're going to go up to 2, and that's it. Now the little trick I wanted to show you is this little count here. It says there's 32 cells selected. That means there's 32 records out of 50 that are within plus or minus 2.045, and I just put that number 32 right in there. Now by default, all the records that are plus or minus 2 standard deviations also include the ones obviously that are plus or minus 1. So we know that we need to look for values in this mean difference column that are roughly plus or minus 4. So we have values going up here to negative 3.8 all the way down to, and we want to stop at around 4. We stopped at 2.7 because 4.2 exceeds 4. And again, our count here is 47. Oops. We want 47. And then obviously all the records appear to be plus or minus 6.14, because the mean difference here, negative 5, does not exceed 6, and it goes up to 4.8 here. So that's all 50 records. So 64% of our cases, 32 out of 50, are plus or minus 1 standard deviation. 94% are plus or minus 2 standard deviations, and all 100% of them are plus or minus 3 standard deviations. Now, comparing that to the empirical rule would say 68%. The empirical rule for plus or minus 2 standard deviations is 95. And then for plus or minus 3, it's 99.7. So here you can see we're close to the empirical rule. Not too off of it. We're obviously a little below here, just shy. And we exceed it here. And that's it.